Good morning, math wizards and math scholars. Happy Tuesday to you. We're going to continue our lesson from yesterday. That's lesson 29. And we are estimating fractions. So we're going to estimate each sum or difference to the nearest half or whole number by rounding. So half or whole number. And we're going to use a number line. So our first one, this is a little different, is improper fractions, and that's what we're going to be working on a couple of those. And our first one is 16 fifths plus 11 fourths. Now remember, we're not looking for an exact answer. All we're trying to do is estimate where this is going to be, what the total is going to be. So we can use a number line. 16 fifths. Do you want to give that a try? All right, let's see what we get. So we're going to do 16 fifths. I'm going to start at 0. Who knows where I'm going to wind up? 1, 2, 3, 4 fifths, 5 fifths are one whole. 1 and 1 fifth, 1 and 2 fifth, 1 and 3 fifth, 1 and 4 fifth, 1 and 5 fifth. So that's 2. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fifths. 11, 12, 13, 14, 2 and 1 fifth, 2 and 2 fifths, 2 and 3 fifths, 2 and 4 fifths, 2 and 5 fifths are 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 fifths right there. I'll just go 17, 18, 19, and 20 would be 4. All right, so that's 16 fifths. Let's go ahead and count those out again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're right here. 3 and 1 fifth. 16 fifths equals 3 and 1 fifth. All right, so 3 and 1 fifth. Is that closer to 3 or 4? Well, it's definitely closer to 3, but what about the halfway point? Halfway would be right around here, right? So thinking it's closer to 3. So I'm going to take my 16 fifths and we'll just call it 3. And where can I squeeze that in? I'll make this a kind of an estimate, and we'll have 3 plus something, okay? Let's do 11 fourths. I'm going to start at 0, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 3. And I think I have 11 there, don't you? Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fourths. So 11 fourths is actually 2 and what? 2 and 1 fourth, 2 and 2 fourths, 2 and 3 fourths. And remember the video on benchmarks, we know that halfway, 2 fourths would be 1 half. So what are we closer to? Well, in this case, we're equal distance. We're 1 fourth away from third and 1 fourth away from 2 and 1 half, or 2 and 2 fourths. So we're going to round up, because that's just what we do. And we'll put a 3 here, and 3 plus 3, whoops, I'm going to do that, equals 6. So that's an estimate. We round it, round it to 3, and we round it here to 3. So 16 fifths round it to 3, and 11 fourths round it up to 3 too. All right, because remember we're rounding to the nearest whole number or half. Let's do the next one. 17 thirds, that's a lot of thirds, minus 15 sevenths, okay? So we're going to do a number line again. We'll see what this equals. 17 thirds, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1 whole. 1 third, 2 thirds, 3 thirds are 1 whole. 1 and 1 third, 1 and 2 thirds, 2. 2 and 1 thirds, 2 and 2 thirds, 3. 3 and 1 third, 3 and 2 thirds, 4. 4 and 1 third, 4 and 2 thirds, 5. And 5 and 1 third, 5 and 2 thirds, 6. Okay? So let's see where 17 thirds wind up at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we're right there. And it looks like it's 5 and 2/3. Excuse me. So now we have 15 sevenths. Oh, I didn't round. What are we closer to? Are we closer to half? Or we're a third away from there. And so we're just going to round up to 6 because we're rounding up. So we'll say 6. And now let's do 15 sevenths. There's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1 and 1 seventh, 1 and 2 sevenths, 1 and 3 sevenths, 1 and 4 sevenths, 1 and 5 sevenths, 1 and 6 sevenths, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many do we have? We have 15 sevenths, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it looks like we're at 2 and 1 seventh. What are we closer to, the 2 or the 3? Well, we're certainly close to the 2, and halfway is right around here, so we're definitely closer than 2.5. So let's go ahead and subtract 6 minus 2, 6, 5, and 4. Yep. Improper fractions. Do you want to do one without the number line? Let's go ahead and do that. 59 tenths plus 26 tenths. Now, we could add this together and get, add 59 and 26 and just have over the 10. But let's go ahead and estimate and see what is closer to the whole or the half number. And let's look at 10 59ths, okay? Remember the way we can do this? 59 divided by 10, all right? So 10 times what? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 6 is too much, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So 5. 10 times 5 is 50. Our next step is to subtract. 9 minus 0 is 9. 5 minus 5 is 0. So there we have it. What fraction is this? Well, the 10 remains the same. That's my numerator, and that's my whole number. So it'd be 5 and 9 tenths. Okay? Now let's do 26 tenths. So I'm going to put 26 divided by 10. 10, 20, 30, oh, too many, 10, 20. So 10 times 2. And there we have it. 2 minus 2 is 0, 6 minus 0 is 6. And that becomes our whole number, remember from the video? This is our numerator, the remainder, and the denominator remains the same. So what are they closer to? Well, and when we think about tenths, what's 1/2 of a tenth? It would be 5 tenths, right? Don't believe me? Let's just take a look at this. Let's do a quick number line, even though I said we weren't. Then we're just doing 0 to 1, and we're breaking into tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tenths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths would be halfway. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what would we round 5 and 9 tenths to? Well, 9 tenths is closer to the next whole number up, right? So we would round it to 6. And look at over here, 6 tenths. Is it closer to the next whole number or closer to halfway? Well, it's closer to the halfway point. So we'd round that to 2 1/2. And what would that equal? 6 plus 2 is 8. Don't forget about the half. 8 1/2 would be our rounded number. Pretty cool. Alrighty, our next one is kind of a complicated word problem. And it says Montoya's estimate for 8 5/8 minus 2 1/3 was 7. So I'm going to put an M for Montoya. And she said that 8 5/8 minus 2 1/3 estimated is 7. Now Julio, he says that this would be 8 5/8 minus 2 1/3 would equal 6 1/2. Well. Kind of confusing here, but I think we could do it. See who's right. Well, let's take a look at 8 5/8. Well, I know that 4/8 is 1/2, right? So this is close to 1/2, isn't it? 8 5/8. Let's go ahead and figure that out. 0, and we have 8 and 5/8. So let's do 5/8. Let's just do 5/8 here. I'm going to make this a 1, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8, right? 8 and 5/8. Well, is it closer to the halfway point? 1, 2, 3, 4/8? Or closer to the next whole number? Well, it's closer to halfway, so we would round that to 8.5, okay? So we can change that to 8.5, and we'll find a place for that. Now the 2 and 1/3, what is it closer to? Is it closer to 2? We're going to see, hold on one second here. Let's do thirds. We have 0, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So here's 1/3, 2/3, or 1 whole. All right, so we're looking at 2 and 1/3. 1/3's right here. Now, excuse me, just having a brain freeze for a moment. Is it going to be closer to 2 or closer to the halfway point? Well, we look, there's no really halfway that we can do because it's thirds. I mean, so we would just round up to 1. So we would wind up with 8.5 minus 2. Excuse me, we're rounding, yeah, we have 1/3 here, and it's closer to the 2, right? Not closer to 3, even though that's 0 and 1. Sorry. So who's going to be right? Well, 8 minus 2 is 6. We can't forget about the half. It looks like Julio's correct. 6.5 would be a closer estimate. Okie doke. We're going to do 4 more problems, and we're going to use benchmark numbers or mental math to estimate the sum or the difference of the following. Wow, here we go. Let's try to use mental math. 14 3/4 plus 29 11/12. What will this equal? Well, let's think about rounding this. Let's just go ahead right for it. Let's not make number lines and just look at the facts here. 3/4, is that closer to 1/2? Or would this be closer to 1 whole? Well, it's equal distance because 1/2 of 4ths is 2. So instead of going back to 14.5, we'd go up to 15. And then look here, 11/12, that's almost 1 whole, isn't it? It's certainly closer to the next number up, which is 30. It's only 1/12 away from 30 because 29 and 11/12 plus 1/12 is 30. So we call this 30. And then we just add 5 plus 0 is 5, and 1 plus 3 is 4, and we get 45. Let's do the next one. 3 5/12 plus 54 5/8. Okay, let's just do a quick look at what the halves are here. So half of 12ths would be 6/12, right? And half of 8ths would be 4/8. Okay? So are these closer to the halfway point? Yeah, I'm only 1/12 away from 6/12, and over here I'm only 1/12 away from 4/8. So this would become 3 1/2, because we're estimating, plus 54 1/2. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1, so I'll remember that. 54, 55, 56, 57, plus that 1, 2 halves together, our estimate would be 58. You 3rd graders, you math wizards, are going to be ready for math next year, let me tell you. Now, 17 4/5 minus 8 7/12. Okay, looking right here, 4/5. I'm only 1/5 away from 18, aren't I? Right, so 18, this is going to round up. Over here, 7/12. What's half of a 12? 6/12. So if I had 7/12, this would be 1/2. Rounded to 1/2. Let's do 18 minus 8 is what? 18 minus 8 is 10. And then we have to minus 1/2, which would equal what? Well, if I minus 1, it would be 9. But if I minus 1/2, it's going to be 9 1/2. And our very last problem. It's a tough lesson. We're going to go back to mixed numbers. Don't you love, improper fractions. 65/8 minus 17/6. Well, it's time to do some division, isn't it? So we can figure out what these numbers are. Let's do 65 divided by 8, right? Because fractions are just division. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. So I'm going to do 64. And that was 8 times 8. We subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. What's my whole number? The answer. The quotient. What's my numerator? The remainder. And what's my denominator? It does not change. We have 8 and 1/8. What is that closest to? It's going to be closest to 8, right? It's only 1/8 away from 8. So it's going to equal 8 minus something. Let's do 17 divided by 6. 6, 12, 18. That's too many, so 6, 12. 6 times 2 is 12. 7 minus 2 is 5. And so we have 2 and 5, 6. I'm only 1/6 away from 3, right? So, going to round it up to 3, and we get 8 minus 3 equals 5. And there you have it. Big math lesson. Be sure to take the quiz today. I'll make the problems a little easier. And remember, when we take the quiz, the fractions look a little different. It's the only way I can make them work. So like 3/7 looks like that. That's the numerator, that's the denominator. There's the bobcat, there's the crow. I miss you, bobcats. Okie doke. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I know it is kind of difficult, but we'll get it. Tomorrow we're going to start on lesson 30.